process that Immigration New Zealand follow.
Question number 12, Kanwaljit Singh Bakshi.
Mr. Speaker, my question is to the Minister of Commerce and asks, how will be the financial reporting bill reduce compliance cost for small and medium-sized businesses?
The Honourable Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The recently introduced Financial Reporting Bill overhauls financial reporting rules and cuts compliance costs for small and medium-sized companies. It will remove general-purpose financial reporting requirements for small and medium companies. Small and medium-sized companies shouldn't necessarily have to produce the same complex financial statements as that are required by large companies. Cutting down on expensive and unnecessary reporting obligations all assist to build a more productive economy.
Kanwaljit Singh Bakshi.
Supplementary question. What reports has he seen supporting the introduction of the bill?
Mr.
The Honourable
Speaker.
Craig Foss.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I've seen a report from the New Zealand Bankers Association welcoming the introduction of the bill. They have commended the government's decision to streamline financial reporting requirements. They acknowledge that this will support New Zealand business growth and development, which is vital to improving our economic performance.
And that brings to a close questions for oral answer. Point of order, the Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr. Speaker, I chose to wait till the end of question time to raise this point. It's to do with Standing Orders 377, particularly Standing Order 3771A, which says that questions must not contain statements of facts unless, for example. Sir, at question time in question 3 today, Honourable Winston Peters asked a question of the Acting Prime Minister. Did he have confidence in me as Minister for Land Information for having given approval to May Wang to buy 4 farms? Sir, May Wang has never been given approval to buy any farms.
Order, members have a right to ask questions, and the member is correct that under the standing orders, questions should not contain more alleged fact than is necessary to make the question intelligible. Now, that question clearly required that bit in it to be intelligible. Whether or not the member's question was right is something that can be dealt with in the answer. And, I mean, as Speaker, I've tried to allow the House to flow during question time. There are many supplementary questions that do contain far more allegation of fact than the standing orders really envisages should happen. When that happens, I allow ministers more leeway in answering those questions, and the more unsubstantiated, the more politically loaded the allegations of fact in the question asked, the more leeway latitude I'll give ministers in responding to them. To me, that's the most appropriate way to handle this, rather than have the Speaker endlessly ruling out questions because the Speaker considers they contain one phrase too much of suggested supposed fact in inverted commas that may or may not be correct. Now, members cannot, though, raise by way of point of order allegations that other members have matters wrong. That is to be dealt with in answering the question. Points of order should not be used to challenge whether or not members are right. That's why you have an answer to the question, because if a member in asking the question is wrong, the minister answering can point that out, and that's a perfectly fair answer to a question. Now, if I've misunderstood the member's point of order, I'm very happy to hear further the Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Speaking further, Mr. Speaker, I think you're absolutely right. Were a question of that nature asked to the Minister of the portfolio, who should know the answer and should be able to respond. But the question today was asked to an acting Prime Minister on behalf of the Prime Minister. Did he have confidence in another minister, and then an allegation that that minister had done something? The assertion was that the Minister of Land Information had approved the sale of those farms to May Wang. You could not expect an acting Prime Minister to be on top of every portfolio on every matter, and therefore, sir, in that case, the minister should not have, the member should not have been able to ask it.
Order. Now, I'd invite the Honourable Minister just to reflect on what he's putting to the Speaker, though. What he's asking the Speaker to be able to do is have sufficient knowledge of all matters to know whether the content of a member's question is right or wrong, and the Speaker can't do that. I mean, there's no way the Speaker is in a position to know whether or not a member's question is right or wrong. That's why I accept that when there's a minister answering on behalf of another minister, the risks of not being able to answer so accurately are higher. I accept that absolutely. But there's no way, in my view, that the Speaker could have ruled that question out, because the Speaker is not to know the matters relating to whether or not the Minister for Land Information had approved a certain purchase or not. The Speaker has no way of knowing that, and that's just up. I think the question was in order because asked whether the Prime Minister had confidence in a minister because of a certain event that the questioner believed had taken place. Now, the Speaker cannot judge the accuracy of that, and I think while I fully accept that it related to a decision of another minister, that is, I think all the House can hope for there is that ministers answering questions, even on behalf of other ministers, have sufficient information to correct matters if they think there is error contained in a question. But I don't see how the Speaker could have ruled that question out, because it was asking about confidence because of a certain event the questioner believed had taken place. It was up to the minister answering. If the event that the questioner believed took place was wrong, it was up to the minister answering to point that out. And the Speaker can't rule out questions on the basis of judgment as whether they're right or wrong. And I'll hear first from the Leader of the House, the Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
From the the Leader of the House that I want to hear from him.
Well, it's not a contest, I didn't think.
Order. The Right Honourable Member. Order.
Well, I've won.
The Right Honourable Member, I apologise to the Leader of the House. I'll come to the member. I'm not about to... And the member may note I've actually been defending his right to ask his question. And he should not interject when a point of order is being heard. I want to hear from the Leader of the House. The Honourable Gerry Brownlee.
Mr. Speaker, I think the first point I'd make is that the Honourable Maurice Williamson was not asking you to rule the question out. He deliberately waited till the end of question time to speak to you by way of point of order about the matter. Earlier in question time, you made it very clear to the Honourable Phil Heatley that although he himself knew he was not in a place, when the questioner asserted that he was in a place, the questioner's word could not be contested. Similarly, I think if Mr. Williamson is now saying that in fact the information is wrong, it wouldn't be inappropriate for the Speaker to at least give the opportunity to the questioner to withdraw and apologise for the assertion.
Order. No, I don't think I need further... No, I don't need further assistance on this. If a minister feels that he has been... If a member, any member, feels they have been wronged by any statement of any other member in the House, there is a standard procedure under the standing orders. The minister, instead of raising a point of order to question the appropriateness of the question, the correct course of action would have been for the minister to raise a point of order to seek to make a personal explanation. That would have been the correct course of action. And I'm sure the House would have granted leave for the member to make a personal explanation, because I can see the member feels that the question, there's an understanding left in terms of the behaviour of the minister in relation to a certain issue that is wrong. In the minister's eyes, I can sense that, and the minister is perfectly at liberty to raise a point of order, seek leave to make a personal explanation, but not to question the right of a member to ask a question. That would be the correct procedure. Now, the Right Honourable Winston Peters. I'll hear the Right Honourable Winston
Speaker,
Peters.
the fact is that this minister has raised a standing order and then misused it, and had full opportunity to twice lay out his case, even though he is erroneously reciting the nub of the question. I'm happy to give him my question. It's written here, because what he said was his reason for complaint is not part of the question. Now, my point is, well, you heard him out. How about hearing me?
Order.
After all, I'm the one that's being offended here, not you.
Order. The member resume his seat. The member better be a little careful. Well, the member clearly... Order. The member will be leaving if he does not desist immediately. The member clearly doesn't, because the Speaker's judgment was being questioned, and the Speaker had ruled that the member's question, the Right Honourable member's question, was absolutely in order. Now, therefore, the member has no right of grievance at all, because the Speaker has ruled that his question was in order. Now, the matter that remains, should a member wish to seek leave, if a member feels they've been wronged by any statement made by a member, they can seek leave to make a personal explanation, and that's in the hands of the House. I'll hear further from the Honourable Trevor Mallard.
Yes, Mr Speaker, and I thought you might have come to Speaker's rulings 1631 in this and indicated to the Minister concerned that, in fact, he did have a right to object at the time and effectively have that part of the question struck out if he took a point of order in an appropriate way at the right time. That's my first point. The second point is, of course, this is a ministerial action and not a personal action, and he does not need the leave of the House in order to tell the House what he did.
Order. No, members should not be interjecting on point of order. I read the Speaker's ruling that the member is referring to, and I'll investigate that ruling on the basis of the standing orders to make sure that I am absolutely satisfied with that, because what is hugely important in this House is that the point of order process is not used to question statements by other members. And during question time, ministers have the right to answer questions, and if there are errors in questions, the proper process is to deal with that while the question is being answered. If the matter relates to another member or minister, those members have the right to seek the leave of the House. And I want to avoid points of order being used to question what other members have said, because that just tends to lead to disorder. However, I'll undertake to further explore the issue that the members raised with respect to Speaker's ruling 1631. But the Honourable Minister, does he wish to raise a point of order? I'd better come first to the Right Honourable Winston Peters.
Mr Speaker, my point of order is that the Minister erroneously used a standing order, and he should have been stopped, not given a chance to twice get out his erroneous explanation. That's my point of order, and I've got every right in this House, as a member, to tell you what that point of order is.
I thank the Right Honourable Gentleman. The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr Speaker, I seek leave to make a personal explanation on this matter.
Leave is sought to make a personal explanation on the matter that's been discussed. Is there any objection to that course of action? There is objection. There is objection. Point of order, the Honourable Trevor Mallard. Order. A point of order has been called. Order. Order. No, the leader of the Honourable Leader. Order. No, I'm on my feet now, and the member must stop interjecting. Any member has the right to deny leave. It is most unusual, I say to those newer members, to deny a member the right to make a personal explanation. That may not be something well known to newer members, and I'm prepared to allow the member to seek leave again. The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Speaker, I seek leave to make a personal explanation on this matter.
Leave is sought for that course of action. Is there any objection? There is no objection. The Honourable Maurice Williamson.
Mr Speaker, during our